To this man here, Brad Kennedy, and recognize that Brad has an amazing ability, even in the midst of as I mentioned, the myriad of things that he's responsible for, to make me feel like there is no moment, that there's nobody else there in the moment, and that I'm the most important person there today, or whatever day that I'm meeting with him. And the third specific area that I need to really grow in is to challenge assumptions. I, by nature, do not like conflict. I, generally speaking, run from conflict. I think through some of these broken times, I just kind of got tired of it, wasn't interested in it, and just find that I sort of shy away from it. This man here, Dave Wood, as bad as that sounds, is probably one of the best people that I know in regards to dealing with and walking out conflict. I think, again, it's very interesting to me how, as I've cycled and walked through this journey of life, I can see significant time frames and significant points where I needed certain people to walk alongside me. As I step into the last portion of this video presentation, part of why I've chosen, the people that I've chosen to focus on in regards to who I need to mentor, is because of the recognition of the importance of this time frame specifically. As I've looked at this picture, it has actually shifted my thinking on who I need to be focusing on first in regards to who I mentor. And so now I'm going to share with you the 3 specific people and people groups that I need to pour my time into, that I'm responsible for. The first is my lead team. My lead team is made up of 4 staff that work with me here at the church. Each of them have individual needs in regards to whether they need to be coached or spiritually directed. 3 of them need to be coached. Very much they need to be empowered. They need to the biggest piece, to really gain motivation, which comes by self-discovery, as I help draw out of them the direction and purpose and points for their life. And for one of my staff, my assistant specifically, she needs much more direction toward a much more spiritual direction as she's wrestling through faith and just walking through that journey. All of them fit into this age category, the 18 to about 22 years old, and that is the first group that I'm going to specifically focus on. The second group is my pastoral leaders. Over the course of this last year, we began a 1-year pastoral training program and have 41 students this year that are involved in learning to become care pastors. Essentially, that's the end goal. And I need to, specifically as I'm responsible to care for them, build systems and structures that will be able to facilitate their growth, partially through me personally connecting with individuals over the course of the year, but also through building into their lives people that can walk alongside them and provide for them specific things. For example, just this month, we have hired a life coach and provided life coaching sessions for every one of these 41 leaders. So over the course of this last month, I've recognized that life coaching is very important. in the next 4 months, for example, spiritual directing is very important, and I'm going to be doing that partially through one-on-ones, connecting with each leader individually, but also through creative means such as YouTube and different ways of speaking to large groups, but in a sort of one-on-one way. The third area of people that I'm responsible for here presently in my ministry context would be the students in our ministry. As we at present have about 400 students here at the church, this is a very large group, and one that I'm not going to be able to individually mentor. However, there are opportunities in my job and in my life to walk alongside a select group, and specifically I've chosen the student leadership, a select group of students, to be able to raise up and to be able to sharpen and to both direct and coach them and speak into their lives at this critical point. Again, recognizing the importance of having people in my own life, I need to be that for them. One of the opportunities I had this last week was to go to Vancouver for the Olympics with a team of 22 students and leaders, mostly students, and to spend day after day walking the streets, just praying for people, doing ministry, serving hot chocolate, loving people. And it was one of the most impacting times that I felt like I have had in regards to discipling, mentoring kids. And I threw discipling there intentionally. In that, I was able, there was teaching to just speak into their lives, to challenge thoughts, to draw out of them truths. And it was, we literally walked the streets 10 to 12 hours a day. And it felt probably the closest to the way that Christ discipled his followers. In that there was just teaching moment after teaching moment after teaching moment after teaching moment in practical life, where it wasn't a sit down at a coffee, it was walking out life with them. And we saw people healed, and we saw people set free from addictions, and we saw salvation and grace extended. And it was just an amazing experience, an amazing opportunity to disciple and to train kids just by walking with them on the streets of Vancouver. So these would be the three main areas that I need to focus my time as I go forward, and that I'm specifically responsible for in my ministry context. As I started this video presentation with an illustration from Hebrews, I'd like to end with one from Proverbs. I'm often asked if when we read the Bible there are any shortcuts to growth and to become closer to Christ. And there's one shortcut that really jumps out to me, and it jumps out to me from Proverbs chapter 27, verse 17. And it says this: iron sharpens iron, and one person sharpens another. We can choose in our lives, and I can choose in my life, to recognize these people, to challenge myself to become better, and to then lead those around me, or I can choose not to. If I am willing, and I am, to walk out, as Proverbs says, and to sharpen one another, I believe that God will continue to point me back to himself through people around me. And that he will use me as I continue to cycle and to circle through life. That he will use me to do the same for the people that I'm responsible to. As I'm willing to be challenged and to grow in the area of relationally mentoring people by coaching and spiritually directing them.